Good evening. My name is Darrell Robinson. Today I'll be talking about today I'll be giving a response to a video about the Operation Mirai IoT botnet attacks. The questions that I will be answering in this video are: who created the Mirai botnet attacks? Why did the attacks happen? What was the attacker's purpose? Was Mirai Okuri the man who caused the attacks, or was it done by someone else? If it was done by someone else, who was it? Is it possible to destroy the Mirai bot attacks, or is it so powerful that it is impossible to stop it? The ethical dilemma that I came up with in regards to the questioning is, which is something I'm also going to try to answer to the best of my ability, with the aid of course, some research. Is to question whether autonomy is a good thing or bad thing in regards to regulating anything having to do with the internet or cyberspace. So first, let's talk about the first set of questions that I said earlier. So the Mirai IoT botnet attacks were created by a Rutgers undergraduate by the name of Parasja. He initiated a Mirai IoT botnet attack on his school in order to try to convince the school to hire him to mitigate those attacks, which is pretty smart on his part, I think. These attacks are almost impossible to stop based on the fact that the codes continue to be created in a more sophisticated manner as a result of the codes being in the wild or out in the open for anyone to use or to make a little bit more complicated or complex to detect. So, in regards to autonomy, if you don't know what autonomy is in regards to ethics, it's the personal rule of the self that is free from both controlling interferences by others and from personal limitations that prevent meaningful choice. Autonomous individuals acting intentionally with understanding and without controlling influences. So everyone is all fine with being able to be on the internet with limited regulations by the government. No one wants the government to snoop into what they're doing. Everyone wants to give the government just enough for them to be satisfied in regards to them having their hands on what you're doing. Until an attack takes place, of course. For the simple fact that everyone wants autonomy, this autonomy that is given to you as an individual who's able to go on the internet in regards to your information, in regards to things that are connected to the internet, you create holes that are left by the government due to the fact that they can't regulate or control the internet or anything having to do with cyberspace the way they want. So pretty much you're inviting these attacks to come to your space because you want to do positive things with your information, with your activities on the internet. Meanwhile, there are people lurking in the dark net, in cyberspace, in the wild, who want to attack you in any way, shape, or form, whether it be due to maliciousness, whether it be due just for money-intensive purposes, just anything in general, personally. So I've come up with two sources that back up my point in regards to saying that I feel like autonomy should be, not say taken away in regards to you as the internet user or you as the purchaser of any product having to do with any connections to cyberspace, or anything that connects with the internet, whether it be these what do you call them? These cameras that are used to watch your son or daughter in the room while you're in another room. You can have that connected to the internet, and people can see what's happening by attacking you in your personal space, coming into your house, into your privacy, with even with the cameras that you have on your phone, your computer, anything. They can maliciously attack you through blocking you from using your internet the way you want to use it. Just pretty much invading your privacy, invading your space. So one article that I came up with is called "The Internet and the First Amendment," which was written by Douglas Vick. And I picked a quote out from the article, of course, backing up my statement. And this is the quote. "The internet has already had a tremendous impact on scientific and academic discourse, allowing the near instantaneous exchange of information. It also provides countless individuals with an unrestricted forum for self-expression. But the benefits of this system of communication have not come without a cost. As with any communication medium, the internet can be abused, for example, by those intent upon infringing intellectual property rights, making pornography available to minors, disseminating hate speech, or defrauding or misleading others." So that's one. My second article, with the second quote, to back up my point in regards to autonomy needing to be a little bit less a part of the internet and encouraging more regulations coming from governments on how to monitor anything having to deal with cyberspace. I feel like this is another one as well, another article as well. It's called "The Internet Governance and National Security" by Panayotis A. Yanakogeorgios. Took me a while to get it that way. Mi scusi. And here is the quote. "The power of the current internet governance model strengthens the global power of the American example and facilitates democratization and development abroad by permitting the free flow of information to create economic growth and global innovation. Today, the internet is at risk from infrastructure and protocol design, development, and standardization by corporate entities of non-democratic states. Cybersecurity discussions, exploits of ad hoc hacker networks, or nation-state inspired corporate espionage. Malicious actors add to the conflict and are indeed exploiting vulnerabilities in information systems." So, in conclusion, I feel, especially with these two quotes that I have given, that regulation and autonomy need to go hand in hand, but we need to have a little bit less autonomy in regards to how we are able to use the internet, because we need to close the windows that allow malicious attacks to come in through avenues which we least expected. I mean, for example, you see this camera behind me? What's to say that some person is not using this camera that's at my job to look at me just to get a glimpse of who's in here? What's to say? What are they? We don't know what they can do with the information. What's to say that they're not using the smartphone that I'm using to record? What's to say they're not able to just invade my space, invade my privacy, and yours as well? We need to allow the government to be a little bit more, to have a little bit more of a strong hold on what we can and what we can't do, to prevent these loopholes that allow invasion of privacy, intrusion, and so on and so forth. I feel like autonomy is great, but to a certain extent. So that's the end of my video. Sorry for being a little bit long. I'm a bit of a talker. Thank you, and have a nice day.